What's up, YouTube family? I'm back at you like I'm mad at you. You already know I'm glad when you show up. So when you show up, we glow up, and that's absolutely how we grow up. This video, real quick, I want to just speak on the topic of love, real quick. I think this would be very helpful for many of you in your pursuit of love, being it romantic or it could be just friendships. It could be your team. You know, when you talk about team and any kind of tight bonds and relationships, a lot of times love and loyalty is a product of that, right? And I want to speak on what we consider to be love, what everybody consider to be love. Me personally, I want to suggest a different way of a different direction with your vows, right? People go to the altar, many go to the altar and they raise their hand and they vow to do. I do, right? Many people commit to doing this, that in different relationships, right? Marriages and all kind of relationships, right? They commit to doing, right? But I want to suggest to the people, how about committing to what you won't do? When you look around the world, you look at the many relationships and marriages that have failed or crashed after so long, and even those who are able to, if you even look at the ratio to the many who are able to keep a certain bond even after the breakup, right? Because they had kept a certain level of respect, they had a certain bond they were still able to keep, or a love, or you know, when you look at that, how about us vowing to what we won't do? You know, many spent the money, they spent the time, they did a lot of things, right? But what about the commitments to what we won't do? You know, I used to have a chaplain I knew back a long time ago named Dan Swiss. He taught us about something he called above reproach, and it had to do with when someone was above reproach. You might always can't say what they will do because we all capable of making mistakes, but at least you knew what this person wouldn't do. And so he gave the example of if it was a bunch of people in the room and you know, let's just say you on the other side of the screen, you were considered to be above reproach. And there was a bunch of people in the room, $30 was left on the table, and the $30 came up missing. We would be able to say, I don't know who took it, but I know you didn't take it. I know this person didn't take it because you would be above reproach, meaning, you know, we don't know the mistakes you'll make in the future, but I know that you're not a thief, right? You wouldn't steal, right? At least no $30 anyway, right, off the table. So this was a prime example of, I think, what knowing when you're dealing with people and knowing what they won't do, and when we think about making vows and commitments, um, you know, looking at the idea of making those vows and commitments to what you won't do instead of just I do. You know, I think even I think this will help many relationships, many marriages, if the commitments and the vows were made toward what we won't do. Look at even the story of Jesus, John 3:16, most famous scripture in the Bible. Uh, he said, you know, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, whosoever believe in him, right, should not perish, right, and have everlasting life. That's, everybody know the scripture. But now, yeah, he gave in that scripture, but if you look at it, it was about what he wouldn't do out of love. He so loved the world that he gave his son so he wouldn't have to destroy the world. See what I'm saying? So even that love from the Most High, reflective of that scripture, was based on what he wouldn't do. Many of us had different, you know, people and relatives and peers around us growing up, or in different circles and settings where we saw that as a default sign of love, right? Like we knew when somebody really loves somebody, they it's certain things about them that they wouldn't do to that person. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, this person might have these kind of, you know, different characteristics of, you know, traits of that they, you know, just exuded, but they wouldn't really do that to the one that they really love and respected. So just look at that, you know, in 2025, like, you know, that's my way of defining love, and that's my way of dealing with love. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's about what you won't do, not always about what you will do. We've seen many people who go out, you know, they'll buy gifts, they'll do many things they'll do, right? A woman can do many things. She can cook for you, she can clean. Don't mean she's gonna really be loyal and loving. Same thing with a man. He can buy many gifts and he can, you know, he can represent you in a certain kind of way, but don't mean it didn't quite reflect loyalty and love. So let's look at, how about looking at love in the sense of what you won't do? You know, when we look around the world and all the corruption, how about love being what you won't do, right? To the next video, peace, positivity, optimism, power, and abundance, water.